Hi, my name is Hailey Jones from Branson High School, and today I will be recording a POI. I'll begin in 3, 2, 1. Before we start, I need to issue a brief content warning. This episode contains references to sexual violence and descriptions of interactions with law enforcement. To the guy in the back of the room who's complaining about hearing another rape poem. A knock knock, who's there? Rape joke who? Rape joke who's not funny. The rape joke is that sometimes he would tell you that you were going on a date and then take you over to his best friend Pee-wee's house while you all watched wrestling while they got high. The rape joke was that his best friend's name was Pee-wee. Okay, the rape joke was that he totally worshipped The Rock. He thought that what The Rock could do with his eyebrow was so funny. Kind of like the sweatpants and sweatshirt that they gave me at the hospital. I was mortified. I was not ready to tell my boyfriend or my parents or really anybody that I had been assaulted, but I didn't know by who or when or how, and I knew that as soon as I told them, I would see the fear on their faces and mine would multiply tenfold. So instead, I just pretended that the whole thing wasn't real. So you take this time to get another drink, and I'll tell them how every story sounds the same. When you stop listening, Chanel Miller was sexually assaulted on Stanford campus by Brock Turner in January of 2015. The following year, Brock Turner was convicted of sexual assault in the first degree in February of 2016. Brock Turner was released from prison in September of 2016. This is just one example of how the criminal justice system is not set up to support survivors. In my case, they cut my hair for a hair follicle test because while she was assaulted, she must be doing drugs and lying. And they told me I needed to take back my statement so in case something actually happened to me in the future, so that it didn't look bad on my record. And then they threatened to polygraph me at 14 years old, which is illegal. So I wrote this program as a way to make people take rape seriously. Rape joke, a program. It's not a joke anymore. Once you decide to report your sexual assault, you will eventually sit down with a police officer. After the initial report gets taken, not all cases get assigned to detectives to be investigated. Due to a lack of resources, law enforcement agencies say they have to prioritize which cases to send on. As far as a lot of women know, their cases were never handed to a detective. On January 17th, 2015, it was a quiet night at home. My dad had made some dinner and I sat at the table with my younger sister, who was visiting for the weekend. I planned to stay at home by myself, watch some TV and read. And while she went to a party with her friends, I would just chill at home. But then I decided it was my only night with her, so I would go out, have a few drinks, maybe have some fun, and why not? It was only 10 minutes from my house. There was a dumb party. I danced like a fool and embarrassed my younger sister. What could go wrong, right? What could go wrong? Just after 1 a.m. last night, law enforcement agencies responded to a report of an unconscious female in a field near the Kappa Alpha fraternity house. They found the victim on the ground in a fetal position behind a garbage dumpster. She was breathing but unresponsive. About 25 yards away, 2 men, passers-by, had pinned down and restrained a young man who was later identified as Brock Turner. The rape joke is that he was 19 years old. The rape joke is that he wore a goatee. A goatee. Like imagine the rape joke standing there, looking in the mirror, reflecting perfectly back at itself, grooming itself to look more like a rape joke. It thinks, yes, a goatee. No offense. The next thing I remember, I was on a gurney in the hallway. I had dried blood and bandages on the backs of my hands and elbows, and then I felt it. The pine needles scratching the back of my neck. I began to pull them out one by one, and with each pine needle, my brain was talking my gut into not collapsing. My gut was screaming, help me, help me, help me. I was asked to sign papers that said rape victim. And that's when I understood that something had actually happened to me. I know you're tired of hearing rape poems. I'm tired of hearing rape poems the same way soldiers are tired of hearing their own guns go off. Believe me, we all wish the war was over, but friends, you're staring out at a world on fire complaining about how ugly you think the ashes are. When law enforcement agencies arrived, one of the deputies in a loud voice asked the victim several times, "Can you hear me?" There was no response, and an ambulance later, a deputy tried to wake her repeatedly, without success. The victim finally regained consciousness at about 4:15 a.m. at a hospital. Later that morning, doctors said her blood alcohol concentration was at 0.12% and estimated her intoxication level at the time of the assault to be 0.22%. The rape joke is that you had been drinking wine coolers. Wine coolers? Like, who drinks wine coolers? People who get raped, according to the rape joke. According to him, the only reason why we were on the ground was because I fell down. Note, if a girl falls down, you help her get back up. If she's too drunk to walk and she falls down, you do not mount her, hump her, take off her underwear, take off her shirt, and uncover her breasts. If a girl falls down, you help her up. If she's wearing a cardigan over her dress, you do not move it. Maybe she's cold. Maybe that's why she wore the cardigan. If a prosecutor looks at the case and decides that they won't be able to press charges, they might just close it without making an arrest. There's a term for this: clearance. Clearing a case means moving it through the system. It's off law enforcement's desk. A case can either be cleared by arrest or by exceptional means. Cleared by exceptional means is a very specific thing. It happens when law enforcement agencies know who the perpetrator is, where they are, and have enough evidence to prosecute, but for some reason outside of law enforcement's control, they're unable to do so. This can include cases where the suspect is dead, where they're being prosecuted in another jurisdiction, or where the victim does not wish to press charges any longer. In 2019, the Sacramento County Sheriff's Office cleared 80% of their sexual assault cases this way. Exceptional clearance designation is something that experts have told me is meant to be used pretty sparingly, but in the data that we've gathered from Sacramento County Sheriff's Office, that tells a whole different story. He was going to go to any length to convince the world that I had made it up, that it was just a story, that I had simply been confused. When I was told to prepare in case I didn't win, I said I cannot prepare for that. He was guilty from the moment I woke up. No one can talk me out of the hurt that he caused me. You cannot give me back my sleepless nights. You cannot take back the way that I have broken down sobbing uncontrollably. Because I'll tell them how nice it must be to be able to walk away. I'll tell them how there's a voice in the back of my head saying this is just another rape poem. No, this is just another little girl lost poem. This is just another 7 years old sleeping with a Tinkerbell wand on her nightstand and a kitchen knife underneath her pillow because she swore that the next time that he came into her room uninvited, he would come out bleeding. This is just another do not touch me unless I ask you to touch me poem. The rape joke is that he asked you why he did it. The rape joke is that he said that he didn't know. Like, what else would a rape joke say? The rape joke is that he said that you were the one who was drunk. The rape joke is that he said that you remembered it wrong, which made you laugh out loud for just one split open second. Can rape jokes be funny at all is the question. You have no idea how hard I have worked to rebuild the parts of me that are weak. It took me 8 months to talk about what happened to me. It took me 4 years to release my name publicly. I could no longer connect with friends, with everyone around me. I would scream at my boyfriend, my own family whenever they brought this up. You never let me forget what happened to me. At the end, I was too tired to speak. I would leave drained and silent. But now, as long as you're there, in the back of the room, I am going to be here, voice made from smolder, because this is my story, and you cannot take this from me. Thank you.